Hey ladies, let's talk about Valentine's Day and chocolates and teddy bears and roses and how many of his friends do you know and how many years has he been out in the market and what was his ex-girlfriends like and these things. Let's talk about all of that. And I'm sure we're going to get so many answers about what God wants for us from a true man of God. We're going to get all our answers from that. Wrong. We are not going to talk about that. We are going to throw that out the window because those things, they do not belong to us anymore. They do not belong to what we know. After what we have read in the Bible, after what we have seen about the truth, these things are not for us. These things are not for our daughters. They're not for our sisters. And that's just how it is, and we're going to have to swallow that pill. It's going to be tough, but once you do it, you realize the stupidity in it. I'm not here to tell you that a certain man with a certain kind of job or income or the things he buys you or any other kind of rule that this world has set for us when we are to look for certain qualities in a man. I'm not going to tell you these things because I don't believe in them. Because I think they're all a load of... I'm not going to swear in this video, but you know what I'm going to say. They're not for us, they're not of God, and they're against what God teaches in the Bible. If you want to know what to look for in a man, you have to look in the Bible. God will tell you, and He has done so brilliantly. He's given the man and the woman specific roles based on how they are made, and He has assigned them this system, this mutual give and gain system where you give different things, but somehow you complement one another and you complete one another, and you're both equally worth, and you're both supposed to be honored and respected. But what the man gives you is not what you're supposed to give and get, and vice versa. And there's a beauty in this. There's a brilliant wisdom in this that's not of our world, but it's of the wisdom of God, is what I'm trying to say. If you want to know what to look for in a man, you have to look in the wisdom of God. What does God tell you to look for? You'll have your answers right there. Sadly, too many women, even Christian women, still rely on a man's reputation, socioeconomical status, appearance, his past, what it looked like, what kind of feeling he gives you, what he gives you, period. You have to stop with that kind of stuff. It's not of godly nature. If you are an image of God, if you are a follower of Christ, you have to follow God in the sense that in every aspect of your life you have to follow Him, and you do so by applying these rules even in your search for the right man. So please, if you're still watching Sex and the City and all these shows for advice about men, please stop. It's going to ruin your relationship with the Lord. You're going to find the wrong men. And keep in mind that anyone, even non-Christians, can have a long-lasting relationship. And even Christians can have their relationship be torn apart very, very early. So if we're talking about what it will look like in this world, then I can tell you, you're not going to see much of a difference outwardly. But this is important on the inwardly aspect, because if you date someone and you have these kind of values as your compass, the wisdom of the world and not the wisdom of man, of the Lord, not wisdom of God, things are going to happen to you inwardly that might not manifest itself and be visible on the outside. But things are going to happen inside you that is going to drive you away from the Lord. It's going to make you less dependent on Him, on God for guidance. And you are going to most likely go against His word. Because you're going to infiltrate that which is supposed to be in accordance to his word with things of this world that does not belong in your life. That will drive you away from God. It will bring you to men who are not of God. And all in all, for your spirit, this is a bad thing. So my advice is, do not rely on the things of this world. Rely on the word of God if you want to know what to look for in a man. And what just, you get my point. It's that simple. It really is that simple. Throw away all the rules that you've learned. Everything, every idea or belief that you had about what to look for, throw it away and start all over again. And use God as a reference. That's my best advice for you. And some things you should be looking for that I think is of God, from what I have learned so far. Character, okay? You look at the person's, their self, but on the inside. The things that they've done in the past, have they changed, or are they still the same person? You can see that in their character, in the ways, in the things that they do. Are they someone who keeps to their promises? Are they honest? Are they honest with you? Are they open about things that they are ashamed of, about things that they have done, about sin, the way they've sinned? Can they own up to something that they've done wrong? Can they admit to those things? What are they looking for with a woman? What is their goal? Are they looking for a woman of God, or are they looking for something of this world? Do they have respect for you? Do they honor you? Not only when you're alone, but with other people around, especially those of his, of his own circles. Does he make you lean to God, towards God for advice, for comfort? Does he advise you to turn to God in many matters where he shouldn't be advising you? Does your relationship, is it based on the values of the Bible? Is it based on these things? Is that what holds you together? Or is it of something of the flesh, something of this world? What has he done for you spiritually? Not what kind of gifts he bought you last year. What has he done for you spiritually? Has he helped you become closer to God? Has he strengthened you, strengthened your character? Has he been a part of this? Has he helped you see the honorable thing of being a woman? Has he uplifted you in that sense? What kind of person is he? Is he brutally honest? Is he politically incorrect? Does he tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear? These are the things you should look for. These are just some examples. And please don't be among those. This one, I know this is a sensitive topic, what I'm talking about now, because probably a lot of Christians with me will disagree. But this is what I think about this. I think it's wrong to expect the person you're interested in to have their whole entire life put together, to have everything solved and covered and fixed when you're outside of marriage. I think that is it's quite a bit too much to expect of someone. if he doesn't have that job he wanted to have, if he's not capable of doing certain things he wanted to be capable of doing in marriage, and you're still not married, I don't see why you're not allowed to be with this person because of this. That's something I wanted to mention and talk about. Excuse me. I don't know what's wrong with my sinus today. So keep these things in mind, and please, if you have any comments on this was just very generally speaking, but if you have any more comments about this, you want to discuss this even further or get more into detail, do so in the comment section. I will get to you as much as I can. But I understand the confusion, the importance of knowing what to look for in a partner, and I know how hard it is to separate that which we've been taught about, that is defined as success or of a high standard or whatever of this world. I know how difficult it is to separate that from what God really wants for us. But if you're targeted on that, if you're focused on that, and you keep turning to the Bible, you will be guided towards the right man for you. I really think so. Have forgiveness, forgive the person, be a bit open-minded, don't be so judgmental. Remember that everything you judge the person of, look towards yourself. Have you done something similar? And try to really replicate that relationship that exists between Christ and the church. That's what we are taught in the Bible. If you have that kind of connection between you and that person, I don't see why they wouldn't be of God. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to be with this man and still be with God and still be guided towards God. Whether or not, things go well for you in this world, based on the standards of this world, I don't see why that wouldn't be possible. I also received this question about, is it important if this person you're interested in, if they're Muslim or not? Yes, it's very, very important. It's important because the Bible, you know yourself that the Bible is for you a compass. It's your guide in how to approach everything in this world from a godly point of view, from the point of view of your God. You are His image. That's what you are to do. And when you are with someone who is committed and who's faithful to something other than that, you're going to have problems spiritually. You're going to have problems in agreeing with a lot of things that might not be so visible on the outside, but it's going to affect your relationship, and in a negative way. And you can just imagine yourself in what ways, because we think about why the Bible is important for you. What does it help you with in this world, for instance, in your day-to-day problems and trials and the decisions you have to make, or the purpose of your existence even. Think about these things. These are big things. If you're with someone who's supposed to be by your side every single day and is the first person you turn to, for many different reasons, and they misguide you in this aspect, that they won't necessarily lead you to the God of the Bible, you're gonna have some problems with your soul. That's for sure. Regardless of how well you're off in this world financially, you're gonna have problems with your soul, and you have to ask yourself, what is your priority here? Is it to be closer to God? Is it so that your soul may have peace? Is it so that you can enter the kingdom of heaven? Or is it to have this comfortable, wonderful, lavish life in this world? So you really have to kind of weigh in what your priorities are and ask yourself, what is most important for me? For me, the most important thing was freedom, being able to freely express who I was, unconditional love, and of course, God. God was always a priority for me. When I was in a godless relationship, or I was, or even if God was in the relationship, if we weren't held together with the foundations of the Bible, that I see now the major difference and what it's like, it would more easily crumble, and you became very self-centered. It was always about what can I get from the relationship, and it had all these downsides. You're not really connected to that person in God, and that's a big problem, because sometimes things happen in life that's difficult. Sometimes feelings can weaken for that person. These emotional highs that you get when you're in love, sometimes these things can fade depending on what you're going through. This is normal. And you're not supposed to always forever have butterflies in your stomach. Remember, is this from God? No, it's not. God has another definition of love. And when you have that kind of love, and that is what keeps you together, it's very few things that can break you. Very few things that will tear the relationship apart when God comes first. Because what is more above God? You know what I mean? There's nothing above that. That's how we think as Christians. So that's my thoughts on that. I just have to point out that I have never understood so much about what is necessary in a relationship until I was in this one. Not because this person is superhuman, not because they are, some special person in the sense of that, they're somehow supernatural, or I don't know. Nothing like that. It's just that this is a person who has the Christian values, and who has the values of the real God, whom I believe is the real God, and that actually work. They work not only in good times but also bad times, and I kind of think that's very important, because relationships have bad times too, and life is, as we learn as Christians, life is difficult. Just because you are Christian, it's difficult. What keeps you together in these times? So, for those of you, I've seen so many comments here and there about asking me if I'm single and whatnot. I'm not single. Clearly you can hear I am in a relationship with someone very, very special to me, someone who actually led me to God, and had I not approached him from a godly point of view, I would have given up on him very, very soon. I would have been, displeased about certain shallow things, and probably would have left this person and wouldn't have been Christian today. That is 100% true. A fact. I would not have been a Christian had I not had a relationship with this person from the outlook, or from the words of God. Then I wouldn't have been Christian, and that's a big deal. So I speak of experience. Everything that is done in accordance with God, I think, is true success. It will give you the spiritual things you're looking for as a follower of Christ. I hope this helped you somehow, gave you some kind of pointer. Please leave your comments below, and start a discussion about this if you like. I just feel like as women we've been so misguided, and we've been taught these silly things about what it means to be a woman, the things we demand from men. They're all wrong, they're all false, and they come from the wisdom of this world, and it's not of God. It's very important that you see these differences, so that you can, if you have a daughter in the future, or if you have one already, that you teach them the right things. You don't want them to become that way. And for yourself, of course. I mean, everybody benefits from this. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in another video.